today. Right now, we're already seeing some of that rain for us here just south of D.C. And this is a very heavily traveled area from that Richmond to D.C. Watch it over towards the Delmarva. Jen and Tevin.
Was it Paul Goodloe who told you needed new tires by chance, Steph?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, only because he's told me like twice about my tires. So.
And did you get new tires?
One time I did.
Took the advice of Paul. There you go. Hey, a rare lunar event happened in the night skies this week. A black moon, commonly defined as the second new moon in a month.
As with any new moon, this one is responsible for high tides and the coastal flooding that we've been seeing around Charleston. But it could be a good thing, the moon that is, if you're into stargazing. So let's bring in astrophysicist Dr. Paul Sutter from the Ohio State University and the Flatiron Institute for more. The black moon. People are hearing this like, what's that? You know, we don't talk about, we don't talk about it very often. What is it? Why don't people actually see it?
Right. So every month there's a new moon, which is when the moon is on the same side of the sky as the sun, and so you don't get to see it. And sometimes it happens twice in a calendar month, so it's the opposite of a blue moon. It's a black moon.
Are they pretty rare? Because we just don't talk about the fact that because they're not. Yeah, you don't see them.
Yeah, exactly. And so black moons are as rare as blue moons. So if it's once in a blue moon, you can also say once in a black moon.
Well, there you go.
And let's talk about stargazing. Why is the black moon good for stargazing this weekend?
Right. So the moon is really good at reflecting sunlight and washing out the sky and just making stargazing really, really hard because you have a nice bright source of light. When there's a new moon, it's on the opposite side. It's not visible during the night at all. So you get all the stars. And then this time of year, at end of July, early August, we've got 2 meteor showers going and the northern hemisphere is pointed towards the Milky Way. And so go out somewhere dark, you're going to get a really, really great stargazing experience.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. The Perseids, right? When does that peak this month?
I believe it peaks in 2 weeks, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
You just have to make sure to get away from the city, though, so you don't get that city pollution and the light pollution there.
All right, now we need to talk about LightSail 2, because basically this is like a pop-up spacecraft. Tell us about that.
Yeah, LightSail 2 is a crowd-funded orbiting satellite launched by the Planetary Society, a nonprofit organization. And it's a small satellite. It's about the size of a loaf of bread and unfurled a highly reflective mylar surface that is really good at reflecting sunlight, and sunlight literally bounces off of that piece of metal and pushes the spacecraft just a tiny bit. This is a test to see how well spacecraft can use light to sail across the solar system.
So it's like a solar-powered
pop-up tent almost.
Pop-up tent in the sky the size of a loaf of bread. Do you know real quick what's next for the LightSail project?
The Planetary Society doesn't have any plans for a follow-up mission, but they are going to release all their technology to see if any other private companies or NASA want to continue in this direction.
All right, pretty cool. Paul Sutter, as always, thank you for joining us. All right, let's go coast to coast right now with Steph.
All right, here are your weather headlines. We're going to start you off in the Gulf Coast. Tropical Storm Barry may have had one good impact on the Gulf Coast. It temporarily shrunk the dead zone near Louisiana shoreline. NOAA researchers expected the area where oxygen levels are low enough to kill sea life to be nearly 8,000 square miles. Scientists at LSU found it to be less than 7,000. Storm-driven winds helped push more oxygen down in the water column. It's still the 8th largest measured since NOAA started recording it 33 years ago. A California brush fire known as the Caliente Fire has destroyed some 500 acres. It moved through a wood pallet yard, and the pallets acted as fuel and unfortunately grew the fire. Numerous resources were used to battle the flames from the ground, and air evacuations of surrounding homes and businesses took place. More than 60 people have been displaced. At this time, it's unclear what started the blaze. Jen, what's coming up next?
All right, well, coming up this morning, we'll get you prepared ahead of a day of storms on AMHQ. Plus, this tropical system is having a hard time on its journey across the Atlantic. What's hindering its development and how that could change the track of how close it gets to the U.S. And strap on your boots, dust off your jeans, prepare to ride the jet streams to some great tunes. We will show you the best country concerts so you can end your summer on a high note. And Dallas, looking good for now. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the radar out here as we see thunderstorms east of Wichita really dumping some very heavy rainfall as they train over the same areas. A new flash flood warning just issued for Dickinson County. We still have the flash flood warning up for Butler County, including Augusta, Prospect, and Towanda. Also, this new one includes Abilene, where we've had reports of street flooding already. Chapman and Solomon, this goes until 6:45 local time. Marion that county also under flash flood warning too. And then we go to Dallas, where this weekend thunderstorms may fire up, especially overnight into tomorrow morning. And you know what's happening this weekend in Dallas? Here's your clue. The Watermelon Crawl. The original Watermelon Festival at the Dallas Farmers Market is tomorrow. It does look good for that. Temperatures will be approaching the mid-90s.
Subaru Safe Driving Guide brought to you by Subaru. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Brought to you by Subaru. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety rates vehicles for safety, and some reach a level of top safety pick, but only a select few of the very safest vehicles are awarded a Top Safety Pick Plus, the highest level of safety possible. How many 2019 Top Safety Pick Plus winning vehicles does your brand have? 1. 2. How about 8? Subaru has more 2019 Top Safety Pick Plus awards than Honda and Toyota brands combined. They're safe, and then there's Subaru Safe.
It's happening. DQ heard our call. The Snickers Blizzard is back.
Now with the new Peanut Butter Pie Blizzard, made with Snickers.
Alert the cul-de-sac! DQ, happy tastes good.
Take Prilosec OTC and take control of heartburn. So you don't have to stash antacids here, or here. Kick your antacid habit with Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
Sure, a resume is a great way to see someone's experience. But you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and their resume. Like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. It's no wonder Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/offer.
I can't believe it. That I won the Best of sweepstakes and I get to be in this Geico commercial?
Let's do the eyebrows first. Just tease it a little.
Slather it all over, go no back.
Well, the squirrels followed me all the way out to California, and there's a very strange badger staring at me.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Uh-huh. Where's the camel?
Mr. Big Shot's got his own trailer.
Roll out, rush in, drop back, defend on.
Believe it. Geico could save you 15% or more on your car insurance.
Hernia mesh implants may be linked to complications requiring additional repair surgery. Did you or a loved one require a second or even third repair surgery to fix an earlier hernia mesh implant? The existence of an additional repair surgery may be evidence that the original hernia mesh implant was defective. To find out more, call the Meyer Law Firm right away. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
Call 800-212-1893. That's 800-212-1893.
At Credible.com, we've helped tens of thousands of people save money by refinancing their student loans. In 3 minutes, we'll get you actual rates from multiple lenders. We could save you hundreds of dollars a month.
Visit Credible.com to see how much you could save.
I got things I want to do, but student loans were holding me back. Credible.com helped me save $600 a month with a great rate. Now I can go do what I want to do.
Visit Credible.com to see how much you could save on your student loans.
Stream your news just like everything else you love with Local Now. It's completely free and ready to go when and where you are. Local Now. Find it in your favorite app store.
Currently in our area, 68 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, sun and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds. Low 64. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, sunshine along with some cloudy intervals. High 87. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It's time now to take you to the tropics and show you what we have here because it's pretty busy there in the Pacific, and we actually do have some action into the Atlantic. All right, so let's focus in on 96L and what effects it'll have on us. Now, if you remember, we were talking about 95L, earlier in the week, right? That is now bringing a lot of moisture into places like Florida and into the southeast coast. So even if this thing doesn't really develop, again, especially as you head into the islands, it could help enhance their moisture. So will this develop? Well, we just got a new update. Now we're down to 40. Yesterday, we were at 70. Early this morning, we were at 50%. Now we're down to 40%. So why? Well, if you look at the thing, it's just pretty ragged. It will still continue to bring the clouds and enhance some of the showers as it gets towards the Lesser Antilles. But can you even spot it out here? It's just pitiful. That is the system there. But we do actually have some action that's still, coming off of Africa. We'll talk about that in just a minute because there's also the potential for something there. But here is that invest. Again, it's very hard to see because dry air is getting into it and tearing it apart a bit. So that's not helping the scenario. The other issue that we have is the shear. Anywhere you see pink, that's shear. Now, it's in a bit of a pocket right now. But this right here, this low pressure and this trough, basically, that equates to shear as well. It's called a Tutlow, okay? So where you see that low and that trough, just know that that's going to be bad for this to develop. Now, side note, and not to confuse you, but sometimes if those are in just the proper position, they can actually help systems develop. But in this case, it is in a bad position for development, which is good news for us, right? So as this tracks west, it's going to bump into the shear. Here's our little trough that we have also, and that is not going to be conducive for this to develop. Look, as it gets into the Antilles next week, it's just banging right up into a wall of shear. So here it is. It's going to be hard to follow, but this is my hand. I'm going to hold it on here for you. You can see that system. It's there. You can see kind of the troughiness in our isobars here, a little bit of a trough. Maybe it's just a wave. It's just like an open wave, it's even going to be hard to figure out. But we've got two little systems here rolling off Africa. We have other systems too, but there's number one, there's number two. Again, Tuesday into Wednesday, that's the first one we've been talking about, and then there's the second one. But again, you see, as it goes towards the Bahamas, it still can actually pump a little extra rain out into the south. Jen.
It is Friday, which means we're about to talk about the best concerts and festivals in country music this weekend with Stormy Warren from SiriusXM The Highway. It is Boots, Jeans, and Jetstream. Stormy, good morning to you. My favorite time of the week. We talk about music and weather. Let's get right to it. Where are we going first?
Our two favorite loves. I love this. My gosh, we're going to head up north to Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, the granddaddy of all country music festivals here in the United States. It's called WeFest. I had the honor of hosting this festival for a number of years. It's home to the Minnesota Handshake. You know what that is, Jen?
No.
It's when they reach out, hand you a beer.
Oh, I love that handshake. And I bet there's a lot of that
handshake
going on. You've said once before that you need to layer at these shows, layer water and beer. And even this weekend, because it is going to get hot tomorrow. We're going to 87 degrees. We don't hit 90 a lot in Minnesota in August. I only average about 4 times up here, but we actually have a run for that on Saturday. And there may be storms today. They're just south of us, Stormy, so watching for that in Detroit Lakes.
Guess what, Jen? They don't care what the weather's doing up there. They are in there for a good...
That's true. All right, what about out west? Oh,
out west, let's go to Watershed Music Festival at the Gorge Amphitheater. Or let's see, Zach Brown Band, Miranda Lambert, Jason Aldean, Kane Brown, Brothers Osborne. Watershed Music Festival is really one of the most beautiful views you can have out there as well. It's an amazing event.
I would actually kind of want a storm at this place because the view would just be amazing to watch the storm roll in. You've got, the river valley, you've got the mountains out there. But weather-wise, it looks fantastic, so there's literally no chance of that. It is also going to be hot. Temperatures hit the upper 80s. And I hear they don't trash the bash. That's what they're saying. They want you to recycle all your water bottles and everything there, so you can actually win stuff, I heard. That's pretty cool. What about, let's see, we got Brad Paisley?
Very Green Festival, run very well. Brad Paisley up in Chicago. He's going to be at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater with big plans, man. Chris Lane and also Riley Green. If you look at Riley Green, he kind of looks like a Hemsworth brother. So, I mean, just watch out. It's going to be a great show. And Brad is always, it's a 3-ring circus for the Brad Paisley show.
Oh, my gosh. It is so much fun. I've been to a couple of his shows. And you know what? Here, too, luckily we have some good weather. But I think also the crowd would not care about the weather either. They'd be out there in rain or shine or heat or anything for Brad Paisley. But we have temperatures perfect. Low 80s. There is going to be a lake breeze. And so, we'll get some nice weather in there. Sunshine, no issues with rain at all into the evening. All right, one more. Rascal Flatts, where are they this weekend?
They are going to be roasting in Phoenix, Arizona. Is Phoenix living up to its name as a hot place to see a show? Probably. Jordan Davis and Barefoot Man, newly Barefoot Man, Morgan Evans, kind of following in Jake Owen's bare footsteps, learning to really enjoy performing barefoot. Will he be okay, or are his feet going to burn in Phoenix?
See, I love what you did there. And here's the thing. When you go to these shows, you want to wear your boots, right? But you can't in this kind of weather. It is going to be 108 degrees at the start. Best case, 103 at the finish. Lollapalooza this weekend, Stormy, we got like 20 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. That's, the Strokes, the Chainsmokers. You got Ariana Grande, Childish Gambino, and Casey Musgraves up there. It's a weekend-long festival up, in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, always good. Casey Musgraves.
That's weather.
Stormy Warren.
Yeah,
and Chicago is so happy for this weather this weekend because we know the history of weather in Lollapalooza, but this is going to be a good weekend for temperatures in the 80s. Stormy Warren from Essex and the Highway. Thank you so much.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
Your she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Home insurance trusted by more people than any other. State Farm.
There's just no easy answers. Am I too old to start skateboarding?
Chew on it. Twizzlers.
This is a legal alert for users of Roundup Weed Killer. In July 2018, a judge determined that all federal lawsuits could move forward against Monsanto, the maker of Roundup Weed Killer, over concerns that those exposed are at risk for developing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And in 3 landmark verdicts, the most recent in May of 2019 for $2 billion, one in March 2019 for $80 million, and another in August 2018 for $289 million, it was concluded that Roundup was responsible for the plaintiff's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Roundup Weed Killer is the most commonly used weed killer in American agriculture, with an estimated 85 to 90 million pounds used each year. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after being exposed to Roundup or a glyphosate herbicide, you may be entitled to compensation. How do you fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience and resources to seek the most compensation for your injuries. Call for a free case review.
You try hard. You eat right, mostly. You make time when you can. But sometimes life gets in the way, and that stubborn fat just won't go away. Cool Sculpting takes you further. A non-surgical treatment that targets, freezes, and eliminates treated fat cells. For good. Discuss Cool Sculpting with your doctor. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. Don't imagine results. See them. Cool Sculpting. Take yourself further.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clearer skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
This morning, tropical downpours plague the southeast where heavy rain could wash out your weekend plans. Jen.
We're keeping an eye on the tropics from Africa all the way to Hawaii, where the next tropical system in the Atlantic is heading. Tevin.
And rounds of rain and storms sitting over the same area once again today, or more life-threatening flash flooding like this could happen in an instant right now on AMHQ.
Well, good morning to I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jen Carfagno and Tevin Wooten. Finally, we've made it to Friday, but millions of you are starting off your weekend really wet and stormy. This is what it looked like in the Atlanta metro area yesterday. This is a drop your bagel video, okay? Mike Seidel shot this. Can you believe this is a thunderstorm? He said that the winds were so strong they were rocking his car. Look at the flooding that it caused. And it wasn't just the Atlanta suburb that saw. It was the suburb of Marietta, by the way. This was a potential downburst, but it was just straight heavy rain in other areas too. Look at the rain, the water that's coming off this home. You see leaves getting ripped from the trees. Notice the road. It is a river of water as well. We saw 3 to 4 inches of rain. That is a month's worth in a very short period of time, and that's why we saw the flash flooding. Funny enough, at the airport, which is on the southwest side of town, they only got 3/10 of an inch of rain. So it's the haves and the have-nots, Jen, with these summertime storms.
That's the thing with these isolated pop-up storms. You get some, but, you know, your friend 5 miles away doesn't. And we're going to see a similar situation today. I hope we don't see as much damage as we saw yesterday. Look at all the damage reports that came out all the way from Pennsylvania straight down into Georgia. Some of the top reports, winds in Macon, Georgia, 66 miles per hour. Laurel, Delaware coming in with 60 miles per hour. That'll take down some tree limbs. And I know you guys are still cleaning up from your storms 2 days ago. Dorville, 57 mile per hour winds. Plus, we had some big hail, Ferndale, Roanoke, Cave Spring, all coming in with 1 3/4 inches. That hail could put a little dent in your car hood. So you're looking at that today thinking, oh, do I need to take it to the adjuster? And, you know, you may actually. So we look at the risk of storms today, and it's mainly rain. I think hail isn't a big likelihood, although it's possible maybe up here into the mid-Atlantic again. Today's risk of storms will bring the heavy rain and the big winds that come out of those kind of thunderstorms. Watch the deep tropical moisture. You know, we saw it yesterday really move into Florida. Bless you, Steph, her daily sneeze on TV. Today, we've got this tropical moisture inching in even more, and we're going to see this old front, this dip in a jet stream, all combining to just help and encourage rising air. So like yesterday, it's going to be very scattered in nature. Most of the thunderstorms just sort of popping as daytime heating gets going. But like yesterday, some of the outflow boundaries, and we're going to talk about that in about 10 minutes. What is an outflow boundary? How can it actually cause thunderstorms? We'll talk more about that. And the fact that we have the Appalachians in here and storms are going to be training, and all with heavy rain, flash flooding is a possibility. This morning, these showers have now moved up into Savannah. There you go. Rain coming on in, the moisture coming in off the coast, and that's going to lead to some heavy rain at times. Charleston, Myrtle Beach, by about lunchtime, it's heading your direction, the Outer Banks. If you're going to the beach, I would go now, because by lunchtime and soon after, the storm clouds start building, and we see lightning, of course, as a risk. Everywhere else in the southeast, they start popping up here, sort of speckling out there, like water boiling, right? You start to see those clouds boiling up, and we see that across Alabama, Middle Tennessee. It's possible over into western North Carolina into the evening, but then once the sun sets, things will start to settle down, and we'll do it again tomorrow, actually. Look at this forecast. More scattered showers and storms popping. Definitely an increase in moisture in eastern South Carolina and North Carolina. That's we'll see an enhancement in rain there, too. I also think here in the Appalachians into western North Carolina, this is not a good weekend for hiking. Just too much rain chances, Tevin. Too much risk with lightning.
Too much risk with lightning and too many storms out there for the state of Florida. In fact, we wish we could just grab the remote and fast forward through storms like this one that occurred in Tampa. Watch how the clouds and the rain overtake those nice skies at first. This is in time-lapse video, so it is fast-forwarded, if you will. Tampa picked up just over ½ an inch of rain yesterday, and winds offshore at St. Pete gusting to nearly 45 miles an hour. And sometimes, with the chaos of Mother Nature, you also get the calm on the backside of it. And you get this street, a double rainbow, and that was quite the spectacle in Tampa yesterday. As one Jen Carfagno has taught us time and time again, every rainbow is a double rainbow. But Jen, what is it?
Well, the first one is 8 times brighter than the second. So if the first one isn't that bright, of course you won't see the second
There you
rainbow,
go. You can't always see the second one. But here you could see both of them, and they were a beautiful sight out there on full display for all to see. But today, it's not just rainbows we're watching, also more storms, right, Steph?
And they're also full circles, right? But the ground stops you from seeing the
rest
full circle of the rainbow. Anyhow, there's so many things about optics that are so fascinating, right? There's rainbows all around us, you know, but you have to be at the exact right angle because it's how that sun hits that raindrop and reflects and refracts at the same time.
Friday
Two
for
words,
ya.
but you could use one.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about our 2-day rainfall totals here. Some of us have seen 3 to 5+ inches of rain for us. And, you know, we're getting more again today. And I think we're going to be a little extra today, as the kids say, though I think that word is starting to wane. I'm sure there'll be something else coming in. Fort Lauderdale, Boca, it's like the same thing happened just 24 hours ago. Showers, Georgia, also into South Carolina, too. As we widen on out, we'll see a lot of moisture. Now, we need it in places like Jacksonville, St. Augustine, of course, right there as well, the oldest inhabited European established settlement. But Jacksonville, 4.72 inches below average. While we look at South Florida, places like Miami, and that's where we're above average by like 4.5 inches. So we are going to see the rain and also the potential for some of that coastal flooding around the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area because of this moon that we have right now, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But here comes the rain. Places like Tallahassee, we're 10 inches below average. We need it, but we kind of get stuck here in Tallahassee. We don't get the bulk of that. Majority of it is going to be here into the peninsula. Tevin.
All right, Steph. Well, 2 men are in the hospital after being struck by lightning. And new this morning, the men were grilling outside in Delaware when a thunderstorm rolled overhead.
Storms blowing through Delaware late Wednesday afternoon. Across the state, there were more than 19,000 lightning strikes between 4 and 5 p.m.
It sounded like a huge explosion. I thought my propane tank exploded in the backyard.
Instead, this man found a different emergency. Lightning tore through a tree, into a metal smoker, and blew 2 men who had been grilling off their feet. Neighbors rushed to help.
I was helping them do CPR to them. Try to turn them on their side. The one guy had stuff coming out of his mouth.
They were both breathing, and then the one guy just stopped breathing. So right as when the paramedics arrived, his lips were blue.
Paramedics say a 31-year-old man's heart stopped, but they were able to restart it. His 37-year-old friend had chest and leg injuries.
The one guy was wiggling around a little bit, but the other guy was just out of it.
On the way to the hospital, they said he was actually breathing, so we're all praying that they both are in good shape.
Left behind in the backyard were sandals, parts of the tree, and debris from paramedics who worked to save the 2 men's lives.
You never would even would have known with how clear the sky was over here.
It's unreal. It just happened so fast. And then it was like the storm just stopped quick.
At last check, the one man whose heart stopped was listed in critical condition. Hospital officials called his friend's condition serious. But just yesterday in Delaware, we saw 19,000 lightning strikes between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 5 o'clock. Steph, that was an immense amount of lightning in such short time, too.
Yeah, there's also a lot of hail, too, and a lot of wind. Speaking of the winds, we had winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour on the Delmarva Peninsula yesterday. A storm swept through the mid-Atlantic, and hail anywhere from, really kind of Blacksburg to Baltimore today. More storms in the mid-Atlantic, courtesy of our front that has gotten through the Northeast, Jen. So thumbs up, double thumbs up for the Northeast, but double thumbs down for the mid-Atlantic.
Right. I mean, double thumbs up for like Portland, Boston, New York City-ish, but south of there, not much improvement. And we saw it yesterday. We're going to see it again today. Thunderstorms in the forecast. Pittsburgh, State College, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg. We got storms, D.C., watching for some storms as well. But up here, look, in Boston and Bangor and Burlington, it's not like it has cooled down a lot. Temperatures are still in the 80s. Most importantly, your dew points have dropped off up there, so it's still another comfortable day. Enjoy that. You hang on to it for another day. For now, though, we've got this boundary, the stationary front in here. It's the reason why your commute coming in from the south side of D.C. has been really tough, all those southern suburbs. We had a lot of thunderstorms earlier. They've pretty much moved off of 95 for now, but I know the damage is always done here. When you start the commute rainy, it's hard to recover. We have thunderstorms right now moving right over places like Lexington Park and right over the Potomac and the Chesapeake. So that's stopping your morning plans for getting out there on the water, on the boat. There's going to be more of this kind of activity later today. So it's not the best boating days for sure. I mean, you look at this through this morning, finally the model picking up on that cluster that we have right now to start and keeps it around for another hour or two. Then it fizzles. Then we get an hour or two off. before thunderstorms start going again. And you see them popping all throughout the highlands of Pennsylvania, getting up into southern, even New York State up here. Look at this, right over the Pennsylvania-New York State line, up towards the Finger Lakes. Your afternoon could be affected by just a few isolated storms, but still, if there's lightning in them, you're dashing inside. Then we've got the risk of heavy rain, too, through tomorrow morning with any of these. And so that's going to lead to that flash flooding risk, definitely exacerbated by any higher terrain. Tomorrow's forecast. You see the change happening here? Yes, it's Saturday, and your weekend plans, unfortunately, bring in more thunderstorm chances. Now, Boston, we still have a dry forecast, but as you can imagine, the fact that we've got green on the map not too far from you, we do have the moisture on the increase. So, the muggy factor kind of goes up a little bit here. D.C., our best thunderstorm chances are today. Will be hit or miss into this evening, and then again tomorrow. Saturday night, we get a break finally. Temperatures in the 80s, dew points in the 70s, and overnight lows don't drop much below that either, Tevin.
And Jen, I know a lot of people in the state of Kansas, they are hoping for a break from the rainfall yesterday and this morning again. El Dorado, Kansas. This is the live drive shot courtesy of Charles Peak out there, showing you those dark and stormy clouds off in the distance. You can look at the ground and see the road is wet and saturated. He's got the wipers going too, that lets you know it's obviously raining. And this is just northeast of Wichita and El Dorado, Kansas. They are under a flash flood watch, not just for today, Steph, but also into Saturday morning. So more storms on tap.
We are. He has good wipers, though, by the way.
He does have
there
good
wasn't
wipers.
like a single streak.
I need those for
Notice
my
that?
car.
Oh my gosh. I mean, mine is like a mess. It's like
And
a
yeah, a
smear.
whole streak. Yeah, right.
Yeah, smear on the windshields. Okay. Well, we saw rain smearing southbound, and really we had two areas that they just were going. It's called training over and over the same area. So if we look over the last 24 hours, we saw some places that had 8+ inches of rain. Now, for August, this whole area, I'm talking from Hastings, Nebraska to Kansas City, Kansas, we get about 3 to 4 inches for the entire month. So we saw double a month's worth of rainfall in some places. That's why we have the flash flood warnings, right? And that's on top of already saturated ground. So from Hastings to Kansas City, we're 4 to 10 inches above average on rainfall. We don't need any more rain, so that's going to exacerbate the situation. So moisture's coming up from the surface, and then as we look aloft, we have this big ridge, and so this is going to determine where little pops of energy go, and they're all going to be dropping down on the east side. You see those lows? And then that taps into the moisture. And so you can actually see the ridge. It's pretty good here on water vapor. It's going up, then around, and there's that moisture. Things are popping off into Kansas. And there you go. That's where we saw the biggest green on our water vapor, which shows us some moisture in the mid to upper levels, and it's getting all the way down to the surface. Because sometimes it can be aloft, and not make it to the surface. But this is a juicy, soupy atmosphere. So basically east of, Wichita is where we do have the heaviest rain and a lot of lightning too. And so that might have you up earlier than normal. But notice how everything just keeps dripping southbound, We got the drip going on here. And that is through at least Saturday morning. Jen.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look, it has been nonstop, right, with these storms every single night, overnight. Are we going to do it again? And have you noticed the trend? They keep inching just a little farther west, so that's going to get closer to places like Dallas. Right now, though, no sign of any storms. Looking nice and bright and hot to start your day. Storms could be knocking your door, though, overnight tonight into Saturday. So if you're heading out tomorrow morning, make sure you get your umbrella, of course, with your market bag if you're going to enjoy the Watermelon Festival this weekend at the Dallas Farmers Market, which does include watermelon bowling and a seed spinning contest. Tevin, but what about all these watermelons that are seedless now? I mean, kids are not good at seed spitting anymore.
No, I'm not good at seed spitting, but I can tell you, we were just talking last hour, there is a watermelon festival also in Arkansas. That's not this weekend, it's actually next weekend, but there is a thunderstorm chance west of Hope, Arkansas, where that watermelon festival is, and also to Dallas, Texas, right along I-35 and south of I-40 here near Oklahoma City. So Saturday morning, thunderstorms pushing through. We'll time those out a bit more because they can certainly contain strong winds over 50 to 60 miles an hour. That potential for some hail and an isolated tornado risk too. Another thing coming along with this weather, that's going to be that flash flood risk here. Wichita, Joplin, along I-49 into northwestern Arkansas and the Arkansas River Valley, especially where you see that darker shade of green. Heavy rainfall coming through on a short order of time, very high rainfall rates with intense storms, and that can prompt some localized flash flooding out there. So let's time some of this out. We do start you at midnight Saturday night or Friday night into Saturday morning. You see the stream of moisture from the north within this northwest flow all the way down to the southeast here. So Fayetteville, Bentonville, watch out for some strong storms, and also into northeastern Arkansas. Not a widespread area of severe thunderstorms, but still that potential to see some very damaging winds. Steph.
All right, so does this system have the potential to bring very damaging winds to the lower 48? This is Invest 96L, and it's looking pretty ragged. With that said, the chances of development have gone down dramatically. We're now at 40%. Remember, 24 hours ago, we were at 70%. Jen, it's going to head toward the Lesser Antilles, and more on why it's going down coming up later.
Also coming up this morning, some of you in Georgia might be feeling a little sleepy this morning. Ahead, why strong storms yesterday continued well into the evening. Plus, we've got tips to keep your house cool and maybe even save a few bucks at the same time. It's a good combo. Boston, this weekend is Picnic in the Park planned for Saturday at Fenway. We will see. It looks hot for now.
Try a drive up at Target, delivered to your car door so you can do more. More refill. More recharge. More relax. Target run and done.
When you have diabetes, dietary choices are crucial to help manage blood sugar, but it can be difficult to find a balanced solution. Try great-tasting Boost Glucose Control. The patented blend of protein, fat, and carbs is part of a balanced formula that's clinically shown to help manage blood sugar levels. In fact, it provides 60% more protein than the leading diabetes nutrition shake and contains only one carb choice. Enjoy the balanced nutrition of Boost Glucose Control as part of a healthy diet.
Just give it your best. Love, Dad.
Just give me my best. Just give me my best. Send your love with Rice Krispies Treats Writable Wrappers.
Let's get down to business. The business of road trips, adventure, and reconnecting. Modernized Comfort Inns and Suites have been refreshed because our business is you. Get the lowest price guaranteed on all Choice Hotels when you book direct at choicehotels.com.
At the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's, we carry flowers that signify why we want to end the disease. And we walk so that one day there will be a white flower for Alzheimer's first survivor. Join the fight at alz.org/walk.
You have to work together as a team.
That's right. Pretty disappointed. Buckle up. There he is. Rated PG-13.
At King's Hawaiian, we believe the world would be a happier place if we just fired up the grill more often. Because grilling means sharing great food and laughter with family and friends. So get grilling with irresistible King's Hawaiian hamburger and hot dog buns.
Lowe's knows you're a team who does remodeling right. We do it right too, with stylish collections that pull it all together so you can rethink your bathroom without rethinking your budget. Now get up to 40% off select kitchen and bath essentials. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
Shaving has been difficult for me. I have very sensitive skin. I get ingrown hairs. Just stopping that irritation, that burn that I get, I wouldn't use anything else.
Hernia mesh implants may be linked to complications requiring additional repair surgery. Did you or a loved one require a second or even third repair surgery to fix an earlier hernia mesh implant? The existence of an additional repair surgery may be evidence that the original hernia mesh implant was defective. To find out more, call the Meyer Law Firm right away. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
Call 800-212-1893. That's 800-212-1893.
Owe the IRS back taxes? Who can you count on? Jackson Hewitt. With 35 years of trusted tax experience, count on us to take immediate action to help. You'll get a free consultation, plus $100 back if you don't like the options we present. That's right, $100 back. You can relax and live your life. We'll work directly with the IRS so you don't have to. Call or visit jacksonhewitt.com for your free consultation today.
Join Liana Brackett.
And here we go.
Paul Goodlove.
If you like that, I got more on the way.
And Dr. Greg Postel. Weekend mornings starting at 9 on Weekend Recharge.
Currently in our area, 69 degrees under mostly cloudy skies.
Today, a mix of clouds and sun. High 86. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy. Low 64. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, sun and a few passing clouds. High 87. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
At 18 past the hour, we want to show you a downburst in Delaware. Storms bringing high winds and blinding rain to Sussex County. 3.5 inches fell in an hour, causing difficult travel and flooding on some roads. You see the trees as well were swaying. There actually was a 60-mile-an-hour gust at Laurel, Delaware, and there was damage reported. You know, a lot of times, Kevin, we see these like heavy rains and we want to call them a downburst, microburst. Like, you know, you need to have damage, and there's certain parameters that go to the technicalities of calling them these things. This one did have damage.
So many nomenclatures and names for things in meteorology, but how about this for delays today? You may be seeing those not necessarily in the mid-Atlantic for downbursts, but possibly across the state of Florida today with afternoon thunderstorms in the mix, but also that tropical moisture feeding on in from the south towards the northbound there. That could cause some delays too, and not just for Florida, but really across the southeast. Now, most of the southeast should be okay today. However, if you get one of those hit or miss thunderstorms lining up at the perfect time in the perfect spot, then you're talking about a thunderstorm coming through that could cause more delays. So places like D.C., Charleston, South Carolina, Wichita, and also Orlando looking at some to moderate amount of delays. Let's put away the plane and show you the big board here and what we're looking at in terms of road travel today. I-95 here from Savannah and the coastal plains to Duval County, Florida, all the way through the International Speedway and Miami-Dade County as well. Along I-95 today, some of these thunderstorms are approaching from the east towards the north and northwest. So watch out for wet roads today and also damaging winds too with the strongest of thunderstorms. Now, some of the strongest activity, mind you, that is offshore. We do have one thunderstorm starting to approach Waycross and Savannah, Georgia right now, but then also near Boca Raton, West Palm Beach, and also Hollywood Beach, Florida. But later on today, this activity becomes a bit more widespread, not just for you in Florida, but also across the south in places like Georgia. And some of these strong storms, by the way, pounding the south yesterday. Take a look.
I mean, look at that rain. It is just relentless. It's windy, it's pouring. The driving rain and high winds making travel around parts of the southeast problematic. You saw that school bus there. Yep, school's back in session in the Atlanta metro, and these storms lasted into the overnight. North of the city in Marietta, a likely downburst dumping more than an inch in a half hour with winds gusting up to around 50 miles per hour. Meanwhile, later in the day, check out Midtown Atlanta. You can see the clouds start rolling in, they start building, they start getting darker, then the rain comes crashing in. And it's just your typical afternoon, daytime heat-fueled thunderstorm. And Steph, you had such a great story about Aristotle thinking that thunder was caused by clouds colliding.
Yeah, so they say. I mean, I love all these things. Oh, the early philosophers thought maybe I don't know if they have it written down in a book somewhere, but I thought they were kind of right.
It was very perceptive. I mean, you're watching things building up. It looks like the clouds are colliding, merging, building, getting darker. We saw it yesterday
on the radar. So you can see everything kind of just very slowly of going off to the north. And this is a flow that has to do with our front too, that is associated with all this.
And it looks like no rhyme or reason, right? But actually later in the day, there was a bit of rhyme and reason to why storms were developing. We saw the rain really coming down in Dunwoody.
Yeah, in northern suburb of Atlanta, wipers trying to keep up with the downpours. You can barely see. I mean, it's tough. You're on the highway. This was 285, bringing traffic to a crawl. 2 3/4 inches fell, and that, of course, just slowed everything down. Not only in Dunwoody, but also on the Diamond.
Ed Mankin and the grounds crew rush out to the mound and the plate to get those areas covered, and the grounds crew will hustle out and get the infield covered up as Mother Nature has indeed interrupted proceedings here in Atlanta.
It was rain, lightning, thunder stopped the game last night. Heavy rain soaked the area 2 to 4 inches, which is a month or 2 months worth of rain. Braves won 4-1 against the Reds with a rain-shortened win. Thursday night actually was the Braves' 7th weather delay, home weather delay, I should say, since June 11th. But these storms actually started by something entirely different. It's called an outflow boundary.
Yeah, so this is really interesting to watch on radar. We're going to do first an explanation of why these outflow boundaries actually do anything at all. So what is an outflow boundary in the first place?
Right. Well, all thunderstorms have an updraft and a downdraft, and they just, updraft, downdraft, updraft. That's how they keep themselves going, right?
So think about it. In the thunderstorm, you've got the rain, it comes down. It also brings down some cooler air with that, and you can feel it. You can feel it when an outflow boundary comes in. It's a rush of cool air, like a breeze.
Yeah, and they basically can develop little mini fronts. And what these do is it's like a shovel. You stick a shovel in the ground, and you can throw up the dirt, from your shovel. That's what these fronts do, but it's thunderstorms, not dirt, that get thrown up.
This cooler air is denser than the air that's out ahead of it, where it hasn't been cooled down yet, so it rises really easily, and you start to see the clouds building first, and then all of a sudden, here comes the new thunderstorms. It's not instantaneous, but it happens.
Okay, so follow this line. It's going to be going west, and by the way, right about here is where the ballpark is, okay, just to give you some perspective.
All right, so we advance the outflow boundary, moving along. Whew, there's one. There's more. There's one up there. There's some in its wake back here. Yeah, the outflow boundary went to work.
Yeah, it did. So that's what prompted some of the showers yesterday. Not all of them, but some of them.
You know what's tricky is not every outflow boundary produces new thunderstorms.
No,
so you can't just look at a radar and say, oh, it's a guaranteed outflow boundary, new thunderstorms. And even along the path, not everywhere got it. But, I mean, it definitely was a trigger for these thunderstorms.
And you can't predict what's going to cause an outflow boundary and what isn't, so
leading to the uncertainties in meteorology, right? But look, it dropped very heavy rain with that storm there near the Braves. 3 to 5 inches?
7.
All right, speaking of strong storms, high water headaches in the heartland, almost a foot of rain in some spots already, and why the threat is far from over. And let's take you live to Atlanta, where up, and away for the Atlanta Balloon Glow at Piedmont Park starting last night and lasting through the weekend. Does the weather allow them to lift off today, this evening? Well, let's take a look at the forecast and show you a little bit more for that glow. Maybe not. 50% chance of storms today.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
Your she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shear she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Home insurance trusted by more people than any other. State Farm.
COPD makes it hard to breathe. So to breathe better, I started with Onoro.
COPD tries to say, go this way. I say, I'll go my own way with Onoro.
Once Daily Onoro contains 2 medicines called bronchodilators that work together to significantly improve lung function all day and all night. Onoro is not for asthma. It contains a type of medicine that increases risk of death in people with asthma. The risk is unknown in COPD. Onoro won't replace rescue inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used more than once a day. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition, high blood pressure, glaucoma, prostate, bladder, or urinary problems. These may worsen with Onoro. Call your doctor if you have worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain while taking Onoro.
Ask your doctor about Once Daily Onoro to start treating your COPD.
Save at Onoro.com.
Take the floor somewhere unexpected. Everything you need is at your fingertips and at the Home Depot. On-trend styles with innovations to make it pet-proof. Make it life-proof. Make it waterproof. Make it beautiful. And the Home Depot has everything you need to make it yours. Today is the day for doing with new lower prices on the latest trends in flooring like hardwood, laminate, and tile only from the Home Depot.
Attention, this is a legal alert for anyone who has used Roundup Weed Killer and been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. If you used Roundup Weed Killer and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to significant compensation. A multi-million-dollar verdict was recently awarded to a man whose non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was linked to Roundup Weed Killer. If you used Roundup Weed Killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call now.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and I wish I could tell you how I feel about a morning like this. And that includes a good hearty breakfast. You need something to kind of warm the whole body up and get it going. It's a great way to kick off your day.
You know that look? That life of the party look. Walk it off look. 1 more mile look. Reply all look. Own your look with fewer lines. There's only one Botox Cosmetic. It's the only one FDA approved to temporarily make frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better. The effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Do not receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow, eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Tell your doctor about your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. So give that just saw a puppy look, and whatever that look is. Look like you with fewer lines. Own your look with the one and only Botox Cosmetic.
So what is that? Syzygy. Yep, you heard that right. Syzygy. You are looking at it right now. So what does that weird word mean? It's actually one of my favorites. I think it's a cool word to say, to spell. And it means an alignment of 3 celestial objects, including the sun, the earth, and either the moon or a planet. So we got it all going on right now. The sun, the earth, and the moon are aligned. Pretty much. Enough anyway. Enough to lead to some higher than usual tides along parts of the U.S. East Coast, and it has been causing flooding.
Right, because if it's completely lined up, we either have, in this case, it would be a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse if the moon was on the other side.
Right, but it's lined enough, and you've seen it the last couple of days in Charleston, South Carolina. We've had the flooding there, Mount Pleasant. We had it again last night.
All right, so let's have a look at where coastal flooding could be a problem. That includes places like Charleston and also into Myrtle Beach.
Yes, so it's not because of rain. In fact, you had no rain when this was happening. It just had to do it with the tides, the higher than usual high tides. And even new moons and full moons, you guys are used to getting just a little bit of flooding. It was a little bit of extra because of this alignment, the king tide as we call it, but the alignment, or almost alignment of the sun, the earth, and the moon. We had the PD reporting that some intersections were flooded. Even the ramp to US 17 had some flooding as well. Coastal flood advisories and watches are still posted for one more night. It's about the time of high tide tonight, between about 10 and 11 o'clock, when you will be dealing with this flooding again this evening. And then we go to instant traffic. Just add water. But what happens when you add in hail? It had traffic at a standstill in Metro Atlanta yesterday. A storm struck during the PM commute. And to make matters worse, it was the first day of school for some, so traffic was already a nightmare. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a worse forecast, actually, Steph, when it comes to, first day of school, everyone's on the road, they're trying to get home to, hear about their kid's day, and then you put in storms with hail.
Yeah. That was impressive yesterday. Yeah. It was impressive to see the hail over the last few days. We could get a little more today out of some of these storms, so make sure you have your camera ready. And we have the rain that's moving into South Carolina, already into Georgia, and we are going to get the showers through the afternoon hours. By the way, if you take video, do it in the horizontal like this. If you can, if you remember, opposed to the vertical. I know that we always look at everything in the vertical, but for purposes of TV and everything, you want it in the horizontal. You get more on cam. So here's a look at where our front is situated. We get daytime heating, pop-up thunderstorms, showers into Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida. All of us will get it. So we have several things going on. We have the sunshine, so that's daytime heating. We have our front. And then remember 95L. It was one of our tropical entities we were following, and it's fallen apart. Well, we're still getting some of that moisture into the south because of that. So here you go, showers, thunderstorms, then we lose that sunshine, and things start to taper off for us. So it will be getting better as you're going to bed. Now, there is a potential with flooding, especially when you get a little elevation that can squeeze out some more rain. So tomorrow, I don't think it'll be as abundant unless you're here on the coast of North and South Carolina. But, in the upstate of North Carolina, again, you do have the potential for that flooding. It is possible. Even into Sunday, it's going to be scattered. Now, we have to look at Charleston, and I'll tell you, a little bit of sunshine, that's all you need. And look at that, 86 degrees. Your temperatures definitely pop up.
Yeah, not as much rain clouds around, but you still get the chance of storms anyway. And that's what's been happening here across portions of the plains. But it's really the overnight that we've been getting most of this. So take a look at what we're starting with. The risk of thunderstorms today turning severe. Wichita, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, down towards Wichita Falls. But the timing of it all, I think, is going to be, again, like we had yesterday. Into the overnight is when the worst weather falls, and that comes as flooding rain. Likely flash flooding again. And, you know, this is the area that we're watching right now. And then even a little further to the west, we could see new thunderstorms fire up overnight tonight again, and we will be dealing with more flash flooding. Third night in a row now. We've been doing this here, a third morning in a row that we've been waking up to flooding, and here today, it is a zone just to the east of Wichita. This area of just very persistent thunderstorm activity, these storms training over the same areas. I will say one difference between yesterday and today is it's actually a larger area today, but the focus of the heavier rain has been sort of diffused a bit. So, but still, we have some big totals coming in. Wells, or just about 6 miles from there, 8 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Potwin, 3.6, and then 6.4 in Tampa and Kansas. Just north of 335, you've had some big totals, and no doubt there's some issues with flooding and flash flooding there. Remember, yesterday, it was this town right here, Ottawa, that got into the flooding rain. We had, what, 6, 7, 8 inches of rain right there. Water rescues nearby. Now the heaviest of rain is just off to your west. It's too close for comfort, I know. We're watching these showers this morning. They'll fizzle, but then new ones fire up again overnight tonight, Tevin.
All right, well, here's still what's coming up this morning on AMHQ. Staying cool for the rest of the summer may come down to which AC you pick and what you do once it's installed. Our experts help you beat the heat without breaking your budget. Coming up. Plus, trouble in the tropics, in the Atlantic. Yes, what is pushing off the coast of Africa that's keeping it from developing? We'll examine that a little bit closer in just moments.
Let's get down to business. The business of road trips, adventure, and reconnecting. Modernized Comfort Inns and Suites have been refreshed because our business is you. Get the lowest price guaranteed on all Choice Hotels when you book direct at choicehotels.com.
July 15th is National Give Something Away Day. Giving away stuff is nice, like that canoe you never use, or that stuffed toy you won at the fair. But not your identity or your savings. You don't want to give those away, which is why AARP Fraud Watch Network offers tips and tools so you can protect yourself and your family from scams. So let AARP help protect you from fraud and keep what matters most. Take on today and every day with AARP.
Jimmy's gotten used to his whole room smelling like sweaty odors. Yep, he's gone nose blind. He thinks it smells fine, but his mom smells this. Luckily for all your hard-to-wash fabrics, there's Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze doesn't just mask, it eliminates odors you've gone nose blind to. And try Febreze Unstoppables for fabric. With up to twice the fresh scent power, you'll want to try it again and again, and maybe just one more time. Indulge in irresistible freshness. Febreze Unstoppables. Breathe happy.
Because of my teeth, I learned to do things from a distance. We just never talked about it.
Having a dental problem is a huge barrier. The love I feel for him, I want to make sure that he was happy.
And that's when we started talking. Then I looked into the dental implant process. Now I had an option.
At Clear Choice, we believe in more of a permanent solution.
There's an alternative to dentures. With Clear Choice, it's a very fine art and science mixed.
Everything is in one facility.
We're able to do all that all in one day. You start the healing process with your teeth.
Now she's smiling and I smile back. And now we connect. That made everything worth it. That was the new beginning for us, for a long, healthy life.
At Physicians Mutual, we know that planning for retirement can feel scary.
I can't believe you'll be 65 tomorrow.
Medicare Part A. Part B. Part D.
Why are there so many choices?
Days premium.
I don't even know what those are.
Don't worry, we're getting Physicians Mutual.
Right.
Retire with confidence. We'll listen and find you the coverage you need.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
I was so embarrassed about paying too much for a used car, I went into hiding in this undisclosed location.
Only Carfax.com can give you the most accurate price based on the Carfax report. Stop the shame of overpaying and start your used car search today at Carfax.com.
Oh, traffic cones. Watch this, guys. It's like a traffic cone race here. They are floating single file down a flooded street from a downburst that dropped about 1.5 inches of rain in Port Chester, New York on Wednesday. They are moving fast. Someone is definitely amused or something at them. All right, the current, there's a bit of a current there too. Look at the water flowing along. Port Chester is about 30 miles north of New York City, and it has a really cool building that used to be used for headquarters for Lifesavers Candy. Oh, interesting. It was converted to a condo building in the late 80s. Be cool to live there, and you could say the old Lifesavers building is where I live.
Hey, did you see how that last cone was just going right around everybody else and making its way to the front of the line? Maybe you're doing that today in traffic, getting in the fast lane and trying to get around people. Roads may be slick if you're doing that in portions of the Mid-Atlantic today and this morning too, especially on the eastern side of the D.C. and the Beltway over towards Annapolis. But then by lunchtime, north of the metro and south of D.C., we're also looking at scattered thunderstorms, and scattered should be the key word for most of the day. However, closer to the PM rush, now we're starting to see more showers dancing around the D.C. area, so closer towards Manassas and then Waldorf as well. Let's look at the satellite and radar right now to show you where some of the thunderstorms are, at least just the radar here showing you where the rain and thunderstorms are. That darker shade of red and orange appearing on the radar. It does look like this thunderstorm is collapsing on itself, so that'll be good news, and we'll see that trend sort of continue as we get into the midday hours. But then later on this afternoon, more isolated and numerous scattered storms start to appear on the radar, and that could put a damper on your travel today. Ladies.
All right, during the summertime, you're beating the heat every way you can. You get in the pool, you pour water on your head, stay in the shade, right? And this month, many places will have their warmest day of the year. And when extreme heat strikes, the best place is to be inside. Look at that. July for a lot of the country.
Yeah, but early August, we still hit our hottest time, late August on the West Coast. So we've got time to make sure that AC is still working. Home improvement expert Danny Lipper joins us with tips to keep your AC blowing cool air during the hottest parts of the summer. So one of the most important ways to keep your AC running smoothly is to keep the air filter clean. But really, how often do we need to change it?
Well, certainly with your air filter, you need to use a quality air filter. And if you use an electrostatic filter, it's going to cost you about $12 or $15. All you have to do is change it about every 3 months. But there's outside the air filter, there's a number of other very simple maintenance things. And, you know, your central air conditioning system are made up of basically two parts. You have your air handler inside, and you've got this mysterious thing out in your yard, which is a condenser unit. The thing you want to do here in terms of maintenance, just keep it clear of any bushes. Make sure nothing is pushing up against it. Also, if you see anything that's any debris, turn the power off, flush it off with a water hose, and then you may want to pick up one of these little unique things. It's called a fin comb or a fin rake. That way, if there's anything bent on any of the fins here, you can straighten everything out to keep it working efficiently. Some real simple things to do to your outside unit.
How hard is it to get inside the unit, though, and do some improvements or maintenance?
I would never suggest it really, because inside these things, so much electronics these days, but there are some things on your inside air handler unit that you need to make sure that you do on a regular basis. And first thing you want to do, whether that's located in the attic or in a closet in a hallway, you want to find something that looks like this. This comes from the air handler unit. This goes to the outside. This can get clogged up very easy, but all you have to do is just take that cap off, grab a funnel, and then pour a cup of bleach down 2 or 3 times a year. That'll keep this part of it nice and clean, but sometimes it'll clog up. Man, let me share with you a great tip on that. Now, this one's working properly. The water's coming out of here, but if it starts clogging up and you realize you have a problem, grab your shop vac, put it over it like that, put a towel around it like this, kick this on. It only takes about 10 minutes, and everything is nice and clear and working like it should. So make sure you find this drain line outside. Look at it. It's starting to pour out of there now, and all of the debris that's coming out of there. You can see that worked very effectively.
Just a little bit.
So you might want to try that this weekend at your house.
I know. That was awesome. All right, so let's talk about the optimal temperature for your AC unit. You know, look, you're probably blasting the AC considering how hot it's been this summer, but we're asking you, where do you keep it at? 68, 75, 78? I'd love to say 80. Nike, but I don't. It's our poll today. What do you think, Danny?
Well, that's one of the things that you can save a lot of money. If you can, say, put on that souvenir tank top and the short pants so enable you to keep that temperature up higher. The higher it is, the more money you're going to save. And also those ceiling fans turning on a counterclockwise position will really help to cool the skin. So any of those things, you move that thermostat up, you're going to save money each and every day.
All right, we have 30 seconds, Danny. Consumer Reports says August and September is the best time to buy an air conditioner. What option should we consider?
Well, the main thing there is the SEER rating, seasonal energy efficiency ratio. The higher that number, the more efficient it's going to be and the more money you're going to save over the years. But like I say, a lot of times when you're buying things for your home, don't buy the highest, don't buy the lowest. You hit it right in the middle. That's the biggest bang for your buck. And the federal government now requires at least a 13 SEER rating. So get up into about a 16 and you'll be in great shape.
All right, Danny, one of our favorites always.
Yes.
So visual as well. We appreciate it.
What do you like to
So
keep
helpful.
the air at?
I like it low.
You like it cold?
Yeah, I like it cold.
So I do have mine at 78, so upstairs.
78? No, I'm more...
No, I'm sorry, downstairs. Upstairs I have it a little bit cooler.
Oh, Tevin, I'm talking
78.
like 72, 68 when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I was going to say about 72 once I go to bed.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, ladies, and good morning to you at home. Let's go coast to coast now with your Friday morning weather headlines. Prosecutors will not pursue an indictment against the father of twins who died after being left in a hot car. The one-year-old kid sat inside their father's car in New York for 8 hours last week. That dad appeared in court and entered a guilty plea to manslaughter charges. But Thursday, the DA's office elected not to pursue an indictment. The man's attorney says he forgot the twins were strapped into their rear-facing car seats when he went to work. The funeral for the twins happens today in Yonkers. And there are new fears a bridge damaged by rain could collapse in the UK. British police ordered more than 6,500 people to leave the town of Whaley Bridge in the northwest of England Thursday. The dam wall is a part of the 19th century reservoir that has had to withstand heavy rains over the past few days. Steph, what's coming up next?
All right, coming up next, are you getting prepared ahead? We are getting you prepared ahead of storms today on AMHQ+. This tropical system is having a hard time on its journey across the Atlantic. What's hindering its development and how that could change as it gets closer to the U.S.? Maybe. We'll let you know.
I'm 52, but in my mind, I'm still 25. That's why I take Osteo Biflex to keep me moving the way I was made to. It nourishes and strengthens my joints for the long term. Osteo Biflex. Find our coupon in Sunday's paper.
Try Target same-day delivery. Deliver to your door so you can do more. More thrill. More skill. More chill. Target run and done.
Imagine a visibly healthier pet in 28 days. Purina One, natural ingredients in powerful combinations for radiant coats, sparkling eyes. Purina One visibly healthy pet. Try new digestive health with probiotics for dogs.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
It's easy to shrink into your own little world. Especially these days.
I think it's here.
Especially at this age.
Where are we going?
It's a big, beautiful world out there. Sometimes you just need a little help seeing it.
The three-row Subaru Ascent. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Get 0% during the Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Sure you don't want me to come with you?
I'm very sure.
Because I can. All right, make good choices.
You make good choices.
Delicious high-fiber Raisin Bran.
I am. Fiber is good for digestive health. Steve.
Good choices never tasted so good.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. The Center for Medicare Services has officially authorized new benefits Medicare Advantage plans may include. Plans may now include private home aids and rides to medical appointments. Most plans also include dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. To get the benefits you deserve, call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, and they instantly advised me that I wasn't getting all the benefits I deserved. They explained I could get a plan that includes dental and prescription coverage, as well as the new coverage for private home aids and rides to medical appointments. If you want to find out what you deserve, call the number on your screen now. It's free. You'll be happy you called, I guarantee it.
Call to see if you can save money and get more benefits now. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 1-800-346-4800. That's 1-800-346-4800 now.
We never said the story was over. Storm Stories, the Weather Channel's hit series, returns August 18th. Currently in our area, 70 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, a mix of clouds and sun. High 86. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy. Low 64. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, sun and a few passing clouds. High 87. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
A pleasure cruise takes a turn no one could imagine this Sunday on a new episode of Defying Death, Heroes and Survivors. See how the weather led to a tragedy.
Thursday, July 19th, 2018. 2 duck boats are caught in a severe thunderstorm on Table Rock Lake, just outside Branson, Missouri. Nearby, wind gusts topping 60 miles an hour have whipped up huge waves on the lake, threatening to swamp the 2 amphibious vehicles as they head to shore.
When you have these straight line winds that roll across, it's going to create what was once serenity. Now it's going to be tumultuous. The water is going to be rocking like crazy. So if you happen to be in a boat, it could be potentially very dangerous.
Paul Lemus, his wife, and 5 children are on one of the duck boats and recording their ordeal.
The captain, when he came on the radio, we could sense the urgency in his voice. He was worried about the other boat.
Paul's duck boat pulls ahead, cutting through the waves. The other duck boat, carrying 31 people, isn't doing so well.
All right, set that DVR right now to catch Defying Death, Heroes and Survivors, a new episode of this Sunday night at 9, 8 Central, right here, only on the Weather Channel. Or actually, you can just watch it live right here on the Weather Channel. Steph?
All right, let's show you now what's happening live in the tropics. It is active into the Pacific and in the Atlantic. We have one system, 96L, and this has a very small chance of developing. Right now, only 40% chance. Yesterday was 70, was 50 earlier. We're now down to 40 at 8 a.m. And it is going to continue its trek towards the Lesser Antilles. But what is making it look so ragged? Can you even point it out? That's it right there. I mean, it just looks terrible, right? A little more action here off the coast of Africa as well. But let's focus in on this one. Now, this is our system. And look at all that dry, dusty air in close proximity. Obviously, dry air, not good for tropical development. The other thing we have is shear. So here's where it is. We're in a little nice, calm pocket, but massive shear on top of it. And then this right here is called a tut low, okay? And that actually is associated with shear in this instance. There are times that these tut lows, if they're in the exact right position, can help enhance these systems, but the strength and where it's positioned and everything, it's shear. So it's bad news for it. Now, as it goes towards Lesser Antilles, it's just going to run into a wall of shear. That blows it over, tears it apart. They don't like it. And so it's just not looking like it's going to develop. So this is our system, and we're going to follow it all the way into the islands. Now, even if it doesn't develop, it really, really looks like a wave here as you look at the isobars as we get closer into it. You see how they kind of hump up like this? All right? So just really some troughiness. And if you think about it in the East Coast, have you ever wondered why a trough in the tropics goes up? Because a trough in the U.S., right, would go down like that. Well, it's traveling westbound. So there's that troughiness associated with that system. And you'll see it here. We have another little one developing. Watch both of these. They just really can't hold it together. This is our first one, 96L. I'll be curious to see if it's still that by the time it gets to the islands. And then our next one, which even though if it's not a tropical depression, it's still going to bring some squally weather. Remember with 95L in Puerto Rico, they had significant flooding. So it doesn't have to be a named system or even a tropical depression to cause anything, but 91% of the activity still remaining. Of course, we peak out, Jen, late August, early September.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising these storms are hitting that wall this year. It's still like the ramp-up time of the season. Now, the Eastern and Central Pacific has been busy. Take a look at Hawaii, though, right now, or last evening. The best artist of all is Mother Nature, isn't it? I mean, look at this sunset in Hawaii. This is Charlie Young Beach on Maui Island. Just a beauty. And the thing here on Maui,